So we complain about the people in office, but they're a reflection of our heart. And I know that that may sting a little bit, but the people that are currently in office are a reflection of our heart. And I thank God for great people like the Avengers. I know a couple of them that have decided to step up and say, hey, look, I've been asleep. Not him. You've been doing it for a while. Yeah. but I've been asleep and I want to run for something. Yeah. I got to stand up and I got to do something. Where is my place in this? Where is my position? Where do I need to stand? And so that's what we have to do, is find our position and find where we need to stand, because what we see on the media, whether we like it or not, what we see in our office or in Washington, D.C., is a reflection of us, because we, the people, are in charge. We're in control. And so if we change our hearts, we can't point the finger. And I know that we've done a lot of that. And I do that every single day. I get mad at the other side. But I think about it, if I change my heart, if we change our heart and we do the right thing, if the Republican Party does what it needs to do, then things will change. But we're not even doing what we need to do. So that we need to stop looking at and pointing the finger and say, hey, I need to stand up, and where's my place to stand? And God and America are interwoven together into a fabric that has made this great nation. From the Mayflower Compact to our founding documents, to the Black Robe Regiment, and everything up until this point, God has had his hand on this nation. And so when we start pulling that apart, we start to pull apart. We've taken God out of schools, and we wonder why God isn't in the school and with our children. We've taken God out of this nation, and we wonder why America is going to hell. And so the presidency and legislation is so important right now, and we're fighting for that, because we have made government the rulers over what is moral or not. And so the government isn't the person, or it isn't the entity that tells us what's moral. The church is. That's right. And so, folks, we have to pick up our cross and carry it back into the town square, into the center, and make it the staple. In the beginning, the church was the center. I talked about the Black Robe Regiment. The Black Robe Regiment is the reason why we have this nation. That's right. The Black Robe Regiment won the Revolutionary War, and that is because in the church back in those days was the center of each town. Yes. And that's where they had their meetings. That's where they gathered. That's where they came together. So whenever it was time to stand up for our nation and declare our independence, the pastors led that charge from the pulpit. And we see that the church is no longer the staple of our towns, and we wonder why things are changing, and our culture no longer represents what we represent as conservatives or what we believe. And so we have to take the cross back into the center of the town square, because this is God's country. And the Mayflower Compact said that we want to take this land for God. They came over here to escape religious persecution, and not just because of taxes or anything else. They said we want to worship our God freely. And so they said, we're going to take this land for you. And there was another group that landed in Jamestown, and they were there for money. They were there for the king, and they said, we want to make profit. So they went and tilled the land, and they brought over slaves, and they wanted all these things. But the blessing of God was with the people that worship God throughout this nation. So this is God's country, one nation under God. And we have to take it back one step at a time. And the question that we need to ask ourselves is, and you guys do it, so let's grab somebody else and say, where do we need to stand?